What's good, everybody? It's Jay Coffee Talk back again with another video for you guys. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on the daily content dropping, music, sports, news, and more. But check it out over the last couple days. I'm sure you guys have seen, a lot of posts and, different things regarding Dr. Dre's Chronic 2001, or, officially titled Dr. Dre 2001. And, that's because it's the 20-year anniversary as it dropped November 16th, 1999. Now, this album is a, certified classic, no question, if you ask me. And it really just came at a time when, things were kind of up in the air about Aftermath, Dre, you know what I mean? Obviously, Dre is huge, one of the dopest producers of all time. But, it was only a couple years. Like, if you really think about it, so much time has passed. It only was a couple years, few years after Dre had left Death Row, you know what I mean? And when he popped off Aftermath, like, he was producing tracks and things, but as far as his own label, they had only released a couple albums. And, until Eminem came along, it wasn't really looking like Aftermath, was gonna really be doing much. The Aftermath compilation, which has some good tracks on there, was considered to be a flop. The Firm, which I still, think is a dope album, and it was just a really dope concept of, a super group with Foxy, Nas, AZ, Nature, and you know what I'm saying, and then being on Dre's label, like the West Coast with the East Coast and everything like that. I still think it's a classic, and like I said, a dope concept, but many consider The Firm to be a flop. And, then Eminem came along, and there was a hiatus in between those, after the Firm album and the Slim Shady LP. And as we know, Eminem rose to prominence, blew up. He was dope and everything, but he didn't really blow the way he is now until the second album, if you ask me. But anyways, after, after Eminem, the Slim Shady LP dropped, and it grew, very popular. Aftermath was, back on the map. On the map, as, Dre's label was popping, and we knew his project was on the way. Now, the original Chronic, man, takes me back. Like, as a little kid, dating back, it's one of the, Dre Day, when they were dissing Easy. Rest in peace to Easy. But I'm just, it's still a classic song. And everything else on the Chronic, I mean, I could go, that's a whole nother video just speaking on the original Chronic. But, you know what I'm saying? Everyone wanted that follow-up. But Dre, is more of a producer than a rapper. As, I'm sure you guys may have seen, or if you didn't, he recently sat down for the anniversary of the Chronic, Dr. Dre 2001 with Jimmy Iovine, and they spoke about the album, and Dre just came out and said that he didn't even want to appear on the album. You know what I mean? He just wanted to strictly produce. And same thing originally, way back for the original Chronic, he did not want to appear on the album. He just wanted to produce the album. But the DOC is actually, who got him to get on the album and actually rap on there. You know what I'm saying? But, anyways, getting back to 2001, it's on the way. We know, we're hearing it, that it's coming. And I'm sure a lot of y'all had heard that there was going to be a Chronic 2000. But if you remember, Suge Knight, which at this time they were heavily beefing. I don't even think Suge was home when the album dropped. Suge dropped Chronic 2000. And, I'm sure you'll see the album cover on the screen. It said Still Smoking. And it was a straight out, like diss to Dre. You know what I mean? He took his Chronic, the name The Chronic. He knew that he wanted to call it The Chronic 2000. He dropped it before Dre could. And a lot of people, I've never really heard people say too much good about that that Suge Knight Chronic 2000 album. You might recall there's an interview with who was that? Daz, where Daz was talking about how it had the fake Tupac, as he was referring to the realist. There was even a fake Eminem on there, not literally, but he went and got a dude named Milkbone, if you remember him, to kind of slight Eminem. Like, it was all just designed to come at Dre and to basically taunt and troll him. And I mean, I don't know. There was some Pac verses on there and everything like that, but it was strictly to try to diss him and kind of cap off the name. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? What reminds me of it, something more recent, is when Baby and Lil Wayne were beefing, and what was it that Slim Thug released? He wanted to call it the Carter 6, but he ended up having to call it like Barter 6 or whatever it was to diss him. It was like the same idea. So, nonetheless, that's why the album ended up being Dr. Dre 2001, as the album was released in 99 as well. As I just said earlier, November 6, 99. Suge's version, you know what I'm saying? The Chronic 2000, Still Smoking, was released May 4th, 99. So anyways, man, that album is loaded with a lot of tracks on there I love. Of course, we know the ones that had videos, like Forgot About Dre, classic M verse on there. And Dre's verse was dope as well, even though, we know he don't really write his raps and everything like that. Still DRE was the kickoff single and kind of introduced the world to Scott Storch. You know what I'm saying? As he was the main producer on that track, and I love that ding, ding, ding. I don't even know. I'm bad at imitating and singing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really got rhythm like that. But Scott Storch had been in the industry, but this really put him on the map as a producer. A lot of people don't know Scott Storch was at one point in time a member of the Roots. But like I said, you got Still DRE, you got Forgot About Dre, you got the next episode, which all have videos. But a lot of other hard tracks on there. What's the Difference Between Me and You is one of my favorites. M and Exhibit are featured on it. And Dre actually, speaks about Easy, about how he wanted to make peace with him. And, he said, forget the beef, I miss you. And how when he got to, the hospital, it was too late. Easy was unconscious and incoherent, comatose, you know what I'm saying, on the verge of passing away. And a lot of other ones on there, Explosive, Bang Bang. So many hard tracks on there. Like, you guys can comment and let me know your favorite tracks on there as well. What's it called? There's a lot of other tracks too that didn't make the album. Like, there's a version of that has the explosive beat, but it's called Way I Be Pimpin'. And it's actually a Royce da 5'9" track that didn't make the album. At this time, actually, Royce was in talks. You know what I mean? M was trying to get him that deal. He was going to get an Aftermath, Interscope deal. And his manager, his homie / manager, Dre ended up having an issue with him. And when he wouldn't sever ties with him, that kind of soured their deal. But a lot of other dope artists on there. Corrupt, Nate Dogg, Exhibit, Nocturnal's on there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dope West Coast artists. And M fit in well with them, I believe. You know what I'm saying? And, another artist who was featured all over that album. If you recall, he was on 9 tracks on there, and he actually had, at the end of the Forgot About Dre video, he had a little part, if you remember, Hitman. 9 tracks he was on that album. I felt like he was on like every track. You know what I'm saying? I remember listening to that album and hearing that dude flow all over it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, this dude is nice. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he was like set to be next up. As I said, they had his one of his a solo track of his at the end of Forgot About Dre, and it never materialized. You know, he faded away. His project never came out. And, you know, this is something I was just kicking it with my bro, Young Veterans Podcast on Instagram. We were talking about this. It's kind of like the aftermath curse, I guess you could call it. You know, Rakim was on Aftermath at this time, I believe. Yeah, he was there at this time. He didn't get dropped till later, but same thing with Rakim. You know, hip hop legend like him. I couldn't wait for his album to drop. Never happened. All we ever seen out of Rakim ever during his time with the Aftermath was he was in the Truth Hurts song, which was actually produced by DJ Quick. A lot of people thought it was Dre because it kind of sounded like a Dre beat. And, you know, Dre was in the video, and Truth Hurts was also an Aftermath artist, but it was actually produced by Quick. And on Jay-Z's The Blueprint 2, they have, matter of fact, another dope track that is on the Chronic 2000 is The Watcher. You know what I'm saying? And Jay-Z ghost wrote that for Dr. Dre. I believe he also ghost wrote Dre's verse on Still DRE. And, you know, so when they did Blueprint 2, they had The Watcher 2, and it had Dre and Rakim on there. But that was about all, and I believe he had a dope song called Rakim, you know, as an acronym on the 8 Mile soundtrack. But he left the label Creative Differences. Album never came out. Stat Quo, another dope artist. Album never came out. Busta Rhymes did have an album came out, but then left the label. You know, problems with Jimmy Iovine. Like I just was saying, Hitman. There's a lot of other artists. I don't want to get too off track, but Eminem has a similar, you know, with Shady Records, he has a similar kind of track record with his artists. He has a lot of artists that he signed, you know, that were dope, and their projects never came out, or, you know, they came out super delayed and then they left the label. Like, I don't know. I don't really understand it. We've even seen it with his group D12. I don't know. So maybe it has something to do with Dre and Eminem's work ethic, like some of the way Dre works rubbed off on M. As you know, another one of my bros, another podcast homie that I mess with, Doc Hicks, we were talking about this before, and Doc was like, you know, I believe it's because Dre is such a perfectionist, you know what I'm saying, that it can, you know, it never works out. He's, you know, and he gets sidetracked with other things and other projects. But yeah, man, this album, you know, Dre was still gonna make money and do his thing as a producer, you know what I mean? And, you know, he was already kind of an OG in the game because of NWA and World Class Wrecking Crew and his Chronic album and everything and all the production credits he had under his belt. But I'm saying his name was kind of getting a little stale, you know what I'm saying? Until that Slim Shady LP kicked off and then this album, you feel me? Now, let me know your favorite tracks on there, what you think about this album. But you know, something else that I wanted to you know, speak about is Detox. I don't know if you guys remember, that was supposed to be the follow up to the Chronic, or I'm sorry, Dr. Dre 2001. I keep calling it the Chronic 2001. I know a lot of y'all probably do too. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people erroneously refer to it as the Chronic 2000, but as I've already covered on this video, that was supposed to be the name, but Suge took the name first. Another thing too, before I move on and talk about Detox, quick sidebar. If you recall, you know, the unfortunate incident where Terry Carter was killed and Bone was, you know, injured, you know, what Suge Knight is serving this, I forget how many years he copped out to, but a long time, you know, that he's currently serving this bid. Suge and Snoop had squashed squashed the issue, squashed the beef, and made up. And there was a lot of talk that Suge was trying to make up with Dre, you know what I'm saying? Like legend has it type stuff, you know what I mean? And that was a part of why he kept showing up to the Straight Outta Compton set like that. But, we'll never know for sure. But I mean, I don't know. It seems maybe possible, but I've never heard it confirmed. You know what I mean? And from what I understand, I believe Dre was kind of leery about meeting with him. Like these dudes had for real beef. You know what I'm saying? It is crazy to think that these Suge and Dre had beef the way they did, and then they had the same baby's mom and everything like that. Like that's wild. But anyways, Detox, as I was just saying though, was supposed to be the follow-up album, and it's like an ongoing joke in hip hop. Like, yeah, that'll happen when Detox comes out. Which now Dre has like officially stated Detox is never coming. The album's scrapped. But it was supposed to be the same way as Dr. Dre 2001 and The Chronic, where it was like a concept album with the different skits and superstar features and mostly Dre producing and just appearing on a few tracks. You know what I'm saying? On 2001, there's actually quite a few tracks I believe that Dre doesn't even appear on. As far as an artist. You know what I mean? Strictly on the production. Now, with Detox, something real quick that I just wanted to say is, if you recall an artist named Bishop Lamont, you know what I'm saying, who was very active in the game, all over the place. I want to say around '08, '09, somewhere around there, and he dropped that single "Grow Up," which, from what I understand, is kind of what soured his relationship with Dre and got him like dropped from the label. From what I understand, you know what I mean, as his album wasn't coming out. He's actually another artist, that we can name along with these other artists that their albums never came out. And, under Dre on Aftermath. And he was rumored to be all over Detox the way that that Hitman dude was all over 2001. And also Detox, I believe, was kind of, like I said, it was like a concept album with the skits. I heard a lot of rumors that it was a movie too. And I believe it was like some out of the future. I don't know. But anyways, the album was scrapped. I just wanted to mention that about, Bishop Lamont. Now, getting back to what we're talking about. Oh, yeah. Let me know if y'all ever really listened to the Compton album, which is Dre's official third album. I actually never really listened to it like that. You know what I mean? They did that big stream. I believe it was on like Apple Music when it dropped. I never listened to it really like that. I've heard some tracks, but you know what I mean? I don't know. And we even seen a couple singles for Detox too. I believe I Need a Doctor was supposed to be off Detox, and there was also a track with Snoop and Jay-Z as well. But anyways, man, when this album dropped though, when 2001 did drop, if you recall, that between that album and then, the popularity of that was still, going on kind of, because, back then the industry was a lot different without the internet. You could release 3 singles, 3 music videos, 4 music videos off an album and kind of keep the album, even to like casual fans who didn't buy the album when it when it dropped, they'll still, you know what I mean? It'll still sell down the road, months down the road, because of new singles and also single sales and new music videos. And Eminem's second album, Marshall Mathers LP blew up. And then with that and, 2001 success, they segued into the Up in Smoke tour, you know what I mean? And in the next episode video, you know what I'm saying, it was like hyping people up for the Up in Smoke tour, which I don't know if it still holds the title. I believe it does, though, as the biggest, most popular hip-hop tour ever. You know what I mean? It was bananas. I was actually supposed to go to that, one of the dates, but I got locked up. And you know what I mean? We've seen all the footage. There's so much footage out there from the Up in Smoke tour. Eminem, you know, Dre, Snoop, Warren G, Exhibit, Dub C, Nate Dogg, Corrupt. I mean, the names just go on that one. So many legends on there, and it was just a dope time in music. That was a pretty lit summer, the summer of 2000, even though I missed a lot of it. But I mean, this all just kind of, you know what I'm saying, was the vibe that time, the momentum that 2000 pushed. It was like, you know what I mean, with this 20th anniversary going on and everything, and just reminiscing on it. You know, a lot of times people forget or don't give this album enough credit. You know what I mean? And there was a follower of mine on Instagram. I don't know if he subbed to me on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? But we kick it on the gram from time to time. And he recently put up a post, you know, celebrating this 20th anniversary of this CD. It was like, you don't know how many times, with the case and all, how many times I had to replace this CD over the years, buy new copies. You know what I'm saying? It got scratched, people borrowed it, never returned it, etc., etc. But I still got it. And, you know, that was kind of the same way for me. I had a couple copies, but I don't have one today. You know what I mean? I really don't have any CDs anymore. Over the years, all my CDs have gotten ruined, but I really miss those days. I don't know if y'all, you know, are with me on that, but I just feel like those were the days. You know what I mean? You know, the days of having your CD collection and everything like that. I really miss those days. But I don't know, man. Just wanted to chop it about this album and this time in hip hop, and see what y'all think about this. And thanks for watching. It's J Coffee Talk. Let me know in the comments, you know, if you guys enjoyed this type of video where I'm just kind of, you know, going over the topic like this. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. Make sure to, you know, hit the bell, guys. Don't forget, after you sub, to hit that notification bell. And, you know, let me know if you enjoyed the video as well. Share your memories of this album and this time in hip-hop. But I also, like I said in the beginning, cover sports, music, news, current events, blogs about life, and all kinds of other stuff. So, you know, hit the bell to stay up to date with the channel. I'm out.